Good evening. Welcome to the ShadowTrader video weekly for Sunday, June 17th, 2012. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. By the time you're watching this, the Greek vote may or may not have happened already, and the futures will probably be gyrating wildly. This is being recorded, late Friday afternoon. And it's going to be relatively short and sweet this week because ahead of the Greek vote on Sunday, there's not much we can say about market direction going forward because we need to get this out of the way. So I'm starting on the SPX daily chart. The channel up above that you're seeing continues to be really important. The market was very strong on Friday and moved into the channel. Did not use the backside of the channel as resistance. So if it was just a regular weekend and we didn't have this grease thing going on, we would have to assume very, very bullish, right? Breaking out of the inverted head and shoulders pattern to the upside. And first target, first target for the market is probably going to be the midpoint in the channel. So on bullishness next week, we got to be thinking around 1372. Which again is probably like the midpoint of the channel. Now, leading into Friday's action, I've been blogging, every morning in the pre-market blog saying that there's really, no direction here, and that was this whole movement here. We constantly had shorter-term traders in control, as evidenced by the profile, and you can see it here. I will bring it down a bit so you can see that's Friday's action there. And let me close this off so you can see. This is the action of the 5 to 6 day balance. I think it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's really like a six day balance, and you can see how the value areas are consistently overlapping. We had a lot of 45-degree lines, which I talked about in prior videos, which is where you draw from the low or the high in this case down to the widest point of the profile, and tells you that the short-term traders are basically entering positions at the wrong time. If the market closes at the high, like you see it here, you see that they're getting long in the hole. If it closes down at the low and you get the 45-degree line, they're getting short in the hole. Like on this day here, you can see that we closed low. And the widest point of the profile is actually much higher, so it's basically people getting short at bad prices. This is all simply indicative of short-term traders controlling the market and no OTF players, which means other time frame players entering the market. So what we need to look out for now over the next couple of days is whether or not this other time frame, meaning these longer term players that have the larger money, the institutional money, that will leave their footprint on the profile, we need to see if indeed they are going to come into the market. So obviously it's too early to tell, but if they are to come in the market, we'll be looking for better structure than we have here. We want to see more elongated profile with value more spread out. One thing I will say about Friday, although given that it was options expiry, it was also quadruple witching, I can't really say too much about it. Is just the simple fact that we also have the 45-degree line going down here. We have the 45-degree line going down here from the highs to the widest part of the profile. You can see that here, right? And that's indicative of traders getting long at bad prices. Now, again, were they all buying late in the day here because they're trying to get ahead of the Greece vote? Probably. Again, also it's options expiry. There's a high volume on these days. I don't really give it too much credence because it is options expiry. It was quad witch. But again, it is something to note that if we have weakness on Monday, you will definitely see what is known as a liquidating break. You will see traders selling really hard off the open. If the market opens either equal to this area or weaker, and there's no initial push to the upside, you'll probably see relatively violent selling to the downside. But I don't foresee that happening, only because the odds are that we're probably going to gap well away from here. So I mean, if we gap down, then yes, they'll probably sell it off the open because there's a lot of weak-handed longs up here regardless. So anything below, probably anything equal or below to Friday's close, I would think would bring on a liquidation break, because obviously these longs are looking for something better than that, right? These late day longs that are piling in here, they're looking for some sort of a pop to the upside on the news, and if they don't get it, I think there's going to be some serious disappointment. All right, one last thing I do want to mention on the charts. If we just look at the dailies, there's definitely some lagging activity here happening in the NASDAQ. You can see the S&P there, but look at the NASDAQ. I think the NASDAQ comp is definitely not as high here. See how the resistance is here? Although it has already broken into the range. You can see that in the NASDAQ here, there are highs right here, right? And then look at the difference in the SPX chart. All right, see how we've broken above the consolidation. And same thing here in the NDX. It's actually well below this high. So there's definitely some lagging action here. It's really hard to say. I mean, I'm pointing all this out to you guys so you can just make note of these things. But again, ahead of this Greek vote, I mean, anything can happen. I mean, I'm looking at futures here. This is late Friday afternoon after the close. It's about 4:30 p.m. Eastern, and you can see here. Look what's happening. I mean, they're still climbing, still zooming higher. So obviously, traders are trying to position themselves ahead of this. I think this is going to be probably one of the most interesting weeks in the market that we've had in a long time, given that there could be a large gap to the upside, and if so, does it open in the middle of the range? I mean, it's totally probable that we could gap the whole thing and go right to the 1370 into the middle of the range. I would think that would be at least an intraday short from those levels, given that we've already traveled from all the way down to here, or all the way down in here. All right, couple things on leading stocks. I just want to mention that Apple is showing some relative weakness. However, it is coiling up pretty tight. This consolidation does look pretty tight. So if the market does have follow through to the upside on the news, and we get sort of a switch into equities for like a summer rally, I would think that this consolidation is going to break to the upside. And then I also wanted to mention PCLN, which is the free trade idea of the week in the weekend update that you're looking at right now. Notice that the stock has moved right up to the top of this consolidation area, also with a triple bottom here. So very, very strong support for price line at the 630, and this is obviously a mover. So I like to mention these stocks because they can really move. There's no reason why why this stock couldn't travel up to the 50 MA easily or much higher on some momentum. All right, so that's it for this week. Relatively short and sweet. Again, everything hinges on the vote on Sunday. This is being recorded at about 4:30 p.m. Eastern on Friday. Futures still rising at about 1338 and a quarter right now. We shall see what the news brings on Sunday and take it from there. Also, one last thing. Remember, those of you that listen to the ShadowTrader Squawk Box during the day, live on Thinkorswim or TD, James Dalton, father of Market Profile, is going to be my guest for about an hour or more of discussion on Market Profile on Monday morning at 1:45 p.m. Eastern. That's under Support Chat on your Thinkorswim platform in the ShadowTrader room. I will be hosting for 3 days next week, filling in for Brad on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. All right, so hope to see you guys there. On behalf of myself and the entire ShadowTrader team here in beautiful Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, I wish you good trading and good night.